Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and I'll be talking about one of the strongest builds in Space Marine 2 to completely trivialize Tyranids and have a fairly easy time versus Chaos. Now, the perks Intimidating Aura and Armor Reinforcement are an absurdly powerful combo in this game, and when you take a fencing weapon with these, you have a very easy time, and to be honest, this might be one of the easiest builds to run in the entire game, if not the single easiest. Now, for the weapon selection here, I did take a fencing power sword, though to be honest, you could use whatever fencing weapon you want. The main thing we want here is gun strikes and easy parries, and this one does both of that. Now, for the perk tree here, I do pick up Armored Strength first. If you have armor remaining, melee damage increases by 10%. We are using the perk Armor Reinforcement, so we have armor all the time. And the next perk after this is the perk Master of Offense. After switching your sword combat style, you deal 20% more melee damage for 5 seconds. Cooldown is 10 seconds. Now, a 12 strength on the power sword is not super powerful for this bonus, but still pretty decent, pretty great perk for sure. Now, if you want to take the perk down here instead, Master of Defense, you definitely can. That's up to you. Next perk here is Perpetual Strength for a 10% melee damage increase, and then we grab Tranquility, moving here into the perk Melee Onslaught for another 10% damage buff, picking up the perk Hard Target. While performing a light combo, you take 15% less range damage. This weapon has a 9+ speed, so doing light combos with this is super easy, so actually a pretty great perk for us. And the next perk here is Cutting Edge. Power Rake deals 50% more melee damage on every single variant of the Power Sword. Power Rake is our strongest attack, and this one buffs it up by 50% damage, which is enormous, so really great perk here. And the final perks I grab are Extremis Slayer, Majora's Slayer, and Terminus Slayer for extra damage. We skip over Minora's Slayer because a fencing power sword has zero issue with Minora's anyways. And the final perk I grab instead is Power Restoration. Power style attacks restore 100% more contested health, though alternatively you could take Speed Restoration for the same effect on your speed style, but this is up to you. And for the secondary weapon selection, what's that? Rate of Fire Plasma Pistol, a never before seen weapon on this channel. Oh yes, we are here back again with the CHP Regen Stagger DPS machine that is only held back by ammo economy. This weapon is just incredible. We will be taking the perk Advanced Conditioning, and with these two weapons combined, or excuse me, this perk and weapon combined, your CHP recovery is incredibly easy, so super powerful option here. And for the perk tree, we set it up as always for ammo economy and pick up things like Divine Might and the perk down here, Plasma Collection. That's pretty much all there is to this weapon, though I will say if you want to take the Heavy Bolt Pistol, you can build it like this. If you want to take a Neo Volkite, I probably set it up like this, and for the Heroic Bolt Pistol, something like this. But that is also up to you. Now for the Bulwark perk tree here, we do take Intimidating Aura first. A perfectly timed parry deals area of effect damage within a 5-meter radius. Cooldown is 5 seconds. This perk does scale its damage with difficulty on top of working with Perfect Block as of patch 8.0. Really powerful here. This thing lets you one combo gun strike any Majoris in the game pretty much, so incredibly powerful perk for any fencing weapon. Now I will say not having any type of damage reduction on this class can suck for your overall survivability, because at that point you are pretty much relying on your 30% increased starting HP exclusively. So if you want to skip this and just take the perk here Conviction or Seal Within instead of the perk Armor Reinforcement, you can definitely do that. But we're going for like full Tyranid murder here, and Tyranids really get fodderized by Armor Reinforcement plus Intimidating Aura, and really all you have to do to run this build is just hit the C button or whatever your parry key is on your console controller. Now next perk here is Scramble Targeting. If you're surrounded by 5 or more enemies, you take 25% less damage from range attacks. 25% less damage from range attacks for being surrounded in this game happens all the time, and range attacks are usually the most damage nuking, especially when they're like an Enraged Devourer or something, so really good option here. And the next perk here is Armor Reinforcement. Non-finisher gun strikes restore 1 armor segment. This perk is incredible versus Tyranids and even versus Chaos at time with the new Chaos Spawn guys, because any amount of armor remaining in Space Marine 2 will take the incoming damage of even a boss melee hit to 0, so super powerful versus things like the Karn effects and stuff like that. And this perk has been pretty top tier since the game came out, especially for Assault. Now I will say once again, if you want to take Steel Within for that damage reduction instead, you definitely can, but versus Tyranids, I do think this is all you need. You actually see that in the gameplay. Next perk here is Advanced Conditioning. Contested health fades 50% more slowly for all squad members. This perk is incredible, really helps out like I said before with the Plasma Pistol CHP regen, though if you want to double up on Armor Restore with the Focus Restoration perk, you definitely can. Both of these are very good, and the weakest one is probably Effective Formation, but this one's actually still pretty decent. Next perk here is Purity of Purpose. The banner deals damage over time to enemies within its area of effect. This perk turns your banner into a shock grenade. It will wipe out Minoras. It deals significant damage to Majoris, Extremis, and even Terminus. It actually makes your banner so much more valuable and significantly better than the other two perks in this row, so I pretty much always pick this up. And the next perk here to give you an even easier time is Invigorating Icon. When the banner is activated, all squad members regain maximum contested health, but it recharges 50% slower. Now, having any type of HP restore in this game can break the stim economy of the game, period. So, incredibly busted perk, to be honest. Really makes an enormous impact in siege mode and operations and stratagems. And that's what we're taking here today. Though, to be honest, you probably won't even need this if you just play with the fencing portion of this build anyways. But really strong versus all the factions in the game. Next perk here is Merciless Resolve. After a Shield Bash, Shield Rush, or Thunderhammer Pommel Smash, melee damage increases by 15%, and you do not lose control upon taking heavy hits and cannot be knocked back for 10 seconds. Now, no knockback in Space Marine 2 is god tier. It will simply allow you to survive against things that would otherwise stun lock you, and having this be triggered is very easy now with the new Shield Rush ability, and a 15% damage buff is quite nice as well. And for the signature perk tree here, I do take Defensive Mastery. A perfectly timed parry or block instantly incapacitates a Majoris or Extremis level enemy. Cooldown is 90 seconds. This perk is really good when it actually triggers on Extremis. I will say, though, that if you trigger this perk on top of Intimidating Aura at the same time, you will just one-shot the enemy, which can kind of be unfortunate because there are moments where you do want to execute a guy. That's like really a minor downside in my opinion, because when this one actually comes into play and pops off for during a boss spawn against an Extremis, it'll save your life. So really strong option here. I also want to mention that the perk up here, Emergency Countermeasure, is quite good, and the perk down here, Armor Advance, is a bit redundant with the Merciless Resolve buff with Shield Rush. That's pretty much all there is for the main perk tree. Now for the prestige perks here, I do skip over Auxiliary Reload, even though I'm playing by myself here. Really, I think this is primarily good in the siege mode or when you're playing by yourself. If you're playing with a team in operations, you won't need this as much unless they have no idea what they're doing, but at that point, you have bigger problems anyways. So instead, I take the perk Resilience first. Medicae stims restore 40% more health. Having more valuable stims in this game will basically make the stim economy better for you as a class. It's a really strong option. And your stims are also just worth a lot in general because they restore on a percentage base regardless. So even your 30% starting HP here is giving you more value out of a stim than, like, say, a tactical would get. So really good option here. And next perk here is Overcharge. Charge attack damage increases by 20%. Now, unlike the Overcharge perk on the Assault class over here, this one does not work with Power Rake on the Power Sword or like any of the other attacks with the Power Fist, but the Bulwarks it does. This one's actually a multiplicative bonus for your Shield Rush and your Power Rake, so really strong option for this weapon. Kind of funny that the Prestige perk on the Bulwark is better than the actual core class perk of the Assault class, but what can we say? Bulwark can't stop winning. Next perk I take here is Powerful Shot. Range damage increases by 20%. Pretty boring perk effect, but very strong. And the final perk we take is Masterful Defense. Ability charge restored by 1% for every blocked range attack. This is definitely better versus Chaos and Tyranids, but with Devourers and stuff like that, any type of CDR reduction in this game is top tier, and this one is no different, so you pretty much always grab this if you're in for the best build. And Standard Bearer doesn't give you a ton of benefits. You don't put down your banner that often for a 2-second vulnerability, and Emboldened Stand is very redundant, because usually in the banner, getting knocked around doesn't matter anyways. And that's pretty much all there is for the build here, guys. I'm not kidding when I say this build can completely foderize Tyranids. Tyranid melee warriors especially will just die upon your parry key. It is kind of absurd, pretty fun at times, and maybe a little boring for some people, but hey, that's up to your preference and playstyle, and hopefully this build guide helped. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more, and as always, take it easy. Bye. And shooting Zangors out of the sky, a little rough. I'm not very good at that. My accuracy's always been middling. There's a new variant piece of the specific champion skins? Yeah, there's the Black Templar and... oh, this sucks. And Dark Angel one. Bolt Sniper is strong. Bolt Sniper is pretty good right now. It kind of sucks that it, I mean, if you hit every single headshot Bolt Sniper, it can do work. That's not that easy thing to do versus Chaos. Pretty easy versus Tyranids. Or at least hit most of them. Is it an absolute now, is it? You deal way too much damage? It's always absolute. Play on. I played for the first time in a year and wore my little lethal helmet and got my ass kicked on Ruthless. Hey, it happens. Loving the drip. Thank you, Jevis. I made it just for you. Bolt Sniper's just fun. I don't care if it's inferior. Me too. Bolt Sniper is really fun in this game. Last Fusel is pretty AFK. I still remember loading up the campaign for the first time. Or like that one section when Chiron is going apeshit. And you have the option to pick some weapons up and shoot the 1,000 Suns that he's killing. And I was like, oh, okay, so like, this must be a side grade to the last Fusel when I grabbed the Bolt Sniper, and I used it. I'm like, this is shit. And I used the last Fusel, I'm like, this is OP. It was kind of that way ever since. The Bolt Sniper has definitely gotten better. What a joke. How the hell see that damage? It's the damage of Bulwark. Intimidating aura. Bolt Sniper had more synergy to Camo Cloak canceling, but that got nerfed. Yeah. Still good. Very justified nerf. The blueprint say we can utilize it. Skitter to the grave. Oh yeah, the reticles in this game are pretty silly. There's a lot of like weird quality of life things this game could really use. You know what? Number one quality of life in all Space Marine 2 is fixing the parry phasing bug. That is a fundamental game mechanic that works like 95% of the time right now. You should never have a fundamental gaming mechanic. Or game mechanic that only works 95% of the time. Obviously it's not an actual metric, but it feels like. I saw the cinematic, bought the game, played the story, ended up preferring Assault and Bulwark because Vultures are so meh. Vultures are definitely better now, but they're still... It's really their CHP regen that's not quite there compared to all the other weapons. And this game... I'll tell you what the issue is, that Space Marine 2 is a game that highly favors burst damage because of the way the blocking interactions work. Because a lot of the time, you just have to get off damage as soon as possible, and consistent damage is not bad, but burst damage is just usually king. In my opinion. Is there any chance for rogue weapons will have normal weapons skins at some point? No. Probably not, because they're like actual... There's a lore reason the Xenophase blade is the way it is. Do you think there will be a patch 10.3 hotfix for some bugs before patch 11? Maybe, Donk. I don't think they've said anything about that, and usually Saber is pretty open if they're going to put out a patch before another one. I imagine that they don't give a shit, and they'll see the PTS server and then everything else. Got all the accolades drift. What's the first weapon I should buy? I'd probably buy a heroic bolt pistol because you can put it on everybody. Or heroic plasma, or xenophase blade. They're all pretty good. Combi Melta is definitely the worst one right now. AFTG, what's up, Sen? Worse than the chainsword? Oh, the chainsword is actually not that bad right now. It's not like incredible, but it's definitely usable. Combi Melta just feels like a straight up, like a Frankenstein of the Melta and the Bolter, but worse than both. At least the chainsword lets you punch the Carnifex in the face. Oh god. Yeah, keep in mind they're all just different relics. Yeah, that was the funniest thing is that Saber like straight up lied in their original post. They said that the heroic tier was going to be the strongest tier of weapons, and then it turns out they're all side grades. That's what they put out in the community post. I'm like, alright, which one is it? I mean, it's obviously a side grade, because that's how they actually function. It's just funny, they basically, bullshit about that.
Obstruction detected. Removal is required to commence.
I'm glad they weren't stronger. They need to make the game easier. Yeah, I don't think it would have been good for the game. Not necessarily because it would make it easier, but having one version of a weapon that is the absolute best for every single weapon that gets a heroic, not a good idea. I think it's way more interesting to have unique effects on them than they did. They just false advertise them. Like, blatantly false advertise them. The heroic combat knife is amazing with the 3 stacks. Yeah, it has great synergy with Vanguard. Vanguard can get those hung reactions very easily. Is there a time limit for the charges run off? I don't think there is, Cav. I've never actually tested that, though. The knife is bugged, actually. It's the same as the block knife where they both hit the damage cap. Okay, so this is definitely the best on, Vanguard, because you can just go around and constantly trigger it a couple times to get the full benefit. How many charges does it get bugged at, though? That's a real question. Not that I've ever actually tried to get, like, all 3 stacks before actually hitting a guy. I've never really done that. Christ. Alright. Let me... Oh. Shit. That's a lot of warriors. If only we were like... I mean, I'd be worried if we weren't able to just do this to them. Oh no, what can they do? What an AFK build. Holy moly. Have you made a sniper class build for the heroic knife? I don't think I do. I don't think it's very good in the sniper. I think you just use block. I think block's just a better option. Personally. Bulwark is so busted. Intimidating Aura is kind of brain dead.
This galaxy is not yours.
I agree, Sturm. If it actually had a like a time limit where the buff was active, like block weapons have, it'd be significantly better. I would like that quite a bit. Shit. Anyone doing charity for the hard weekly right now? Cav over on Twitch. Lord Giggleton is. He usually does. Pusher just fell out of the sky. He'd be like that, you know. No boss spawns so far. That's kind of disappointing. All it takes is 2 stacks to hit the damage cap for Shadow Stab, even without tactical ambush. Or is that taking? Are we talking about snipers in general? I mean, it must be without tactical ambush if the block knife is also hitting that. They're kind of similar. I usually just take Sturm and Hypex's word as gospel on anything tech related in this game. They've yet to steer me incorrectly. Okay. Bam. What an AFK build. Holy moly. Sniper Clo, tactical ambush, full charge. Okay, so it is with the ambush, with the tactical ambush perk. So this fencing build is better the power sword or the chain sword. You can honestly just use it with any fencing weapon. It does not matter that much, but power sword is cool. Power sword is cool. Well, you shouldn't make mistakes too. Well, I mean, so does everybody, but your mistakes are probably going to rectify pretty soon. You guys haven't lied to me yet. Remember that one time you actually did lie to me about the diving kick one with the tip of the spool. I'm also looking forward to the new stratagems they're putting out because there are not a lot of them right now. Maybe they'll let true solo for stratagems at some point, but for now, they are not. I might actually say this is the best build to use if you just suck ass at this game. Because you can really just hit the button over and over. You just spam your parry half the time and you'll win. A new friendly build. Alright, I'm gonna go over to the other place. I'm kind of afraid it's gonna land when I go for ammo. It was on. Okay. Hello, FTG in chat. How are we doing? What's up, EOZ Games? Alright, I'll try it on Absolute then. No shade, no shade. I mean, everybody plays at different skill levels. I'm just saying, like, if I were to take my... Like, if I were to ask my dad to play this game, this is the build I tell him to use. Shots fired. I'm in shambles. This is like your dad's certified game. The game, not game build. The forklift certification build. That's mean. Name the video title of that, a build for terrible players, Space Marine 2. I feel that's just too mean.